This is It Was a Thing on TV.
Punisher! Control!
Harry, before I change my mind!
I give you Super Train.
Episode 327, submission number 2378, Hot Potato. Hot Potato aired on NBC Daytime from January 23rd, 1984 to June 29th, 1984 for a total of 115 episodes.
165 is what I see.
165 episodes.
And now we'll do it as Johnny Olson. Hot Potato aired on the NBC television network from January 23rd of 1984 to June 29th of 1984 for not 115 episodes, but 165 episodes. Holy sh**.
What a job of imitating me, guys.
Here are our champions. They're three of a kind.
I'm Tim Miller.
And I'm Tim Stamper.
And I'm Glenn Fisher, and we are
Beekeepers. And they're here to play Hot Potato. And here to toss the hot potato, our host, Bill Cullen.
Hello there. Thank you. Thank you, and welcome to... I don't know whether you can see it or not, the place, the potato smokes, you see. I wish you would break that habit. Anyway, that's enough of that. Welcome to Hot Potato. We're very happy you joined us. It's always a pleasure.
In late 1983, early 1984, NBC had a very decent lineup in daytime. Of course, there was the anchors of the soap operas with Days of Our Lives, Another World, and Search for Tomorrow. But the game show block has started to come into its own by now as well, with Wheel of Fortune, and if I'm not mistaken, we're either into the first season of Scrabble or it's in development for a future release.
It's in development for the summer, at least.
No, Scrabble premiered like less than a month after the cancellation, because remember, Chuck Woolery was on Match Game Hollywood Squares promoting it. I think it premiered, I want to say, mid-July. It wasn't like a 4th of July thing.
I thought it premiered late June.
It did premiere in late June, and actually it replaced Dreamhouse, which was canceled on the same day as Hot Potato.
In the fall of 1983, the NBC schedule would have looked like this. At 10, you start with reruns of Different Strokes, followed by a respectable hour of game show programming in Sale of the Century and Wheel of Fortune. Then you'd have new entry Dreamhouse, followed by equally new entry Go. Then you'd have Search for Tomorrow, Days of Our Lives, Another World, and the Match Game Hollywood Squares hour. But Go did just that at the end of 1983, beginning of 1984. And in its place would be the last network program out of Jack Barry and Dan Enright called Hot Potato. Now, at this point in the career of Barry and Enright, they had an interesting development strategy. It was called take something that was popular and copy it. Because in its bones, Hot Potato is basically a fixed version of Family Feud. And when I say fixed, I don't mean rigged. I mean fixed as in there are 7 of everything. I mean fixed as in structured.
Yes.
We'll get into that briefly. So they developed Hot Potato. They had a show for the run-through, and the show, it worked on paper, but the host of the run-through reportedly was very bad. And nobody, not Barry, not Enright, and not NBC could think of anybody who could replace that host at the last second. So they called on one person. The one person that anybody who needed a game show host from the 50s to the 80s called. Hey, Johnny, who did they call?
From Hot Potato, Bill Cullen.
And that may sound kind of weird, but according to an article from TV Guide in the 1980s, Bill Cullen did say, and I'm paraphrasing from Truth by Consensus Wikipedia, that he was chosen to host the show largely by default since the originally intended host had flopped during an early run-through of the game, and neither Barry and Enright nor NBC could think of anyone else to ask. He also noted that it had been a very common scenario in his career, hence why he had so many game show hosting gigs to his credit.
Now, one question. Has it ever been revealed who the host of the run-through was?
No, it has never been revealed who the host of the run-through was. Now, Jack Barry did host a run-through, according to game shows at Fandom, but it was largely a pitch film.
Okay.
So, Bill Cullen was tapped to toss the hot potato. So how does hot potato work? Well, you heard in the intro, 2 teams of 3, each 3 of a kind. To start the game, Bill would ask a question that would have 7 answers. It could be a trivia question, it could be a survey of 7, it could be a listicle sort of issue. In order to win the round, you had to give 7 correct answers, or knock the other team out 1 player at a time. And here's how that worked. A player in control can either answer a question or challenge someone else from the other team. If they chose to answer and are correct, control stays with that team. If they are incorrect, they would go to a waiting bench that was backstage, and control would go to the other team. If a player was challenged by somebody on the other team, they would have to answer the question. If they were correct, their team gets control, and the person who challenged that player would go back to the penalty bench backstage. The game continues until 7 correct answers were given, or until all 3 of a team are eliminated. In either case, whoever has a player left, or whoever gives the 7th correct answer, gets the point. It takes 2 points to win a game, and the chance to win an escalating jackpot that starts at $5,000 and goes up $5,000 for every try that is not successful. In the bonus round, you are given up to 6 comparisons, 1 at a time. You can play a comparison or pass one, but you can only pass once. After that, you would have to play the round out. For example, like which is longest? The world's longest tapeworm or a Cadillac? If you're correct, you get $500. If you get 5 correct, you win the jackpot. And you can bail at any moment, and that's important because if you are wrong once, the game ends and you lose everything, except for the $1,000 that you won for winning the front game. In any event, you would return on the next game to face another team of challengers. And that's pretty much the game. I mean, it's about as simple as advanced calculus, isn't it?
Each team had their own personal bank, if you will. So if a team, let's say, went to the bonus round for $25,000 and missed, and then lost the next game, the new champs wouldn't go for $30,000. They go for $5,000.
Correct.
But hey, this is another show that was doomed by the appearance of celebrities.
among other things.
Well, the noon time slot didn't help at all.
No.
But also, oh my gosh, some of the celebrities they got on this for a show that ran not even 6 months. Yeah, there's some names on here. I think the best place to start is in week 5, they actually had a celebrity week in the middle of the civilian run.
Yes. And have we discussed the three of a kind theme yet?
We've glanced over it as part of the game mechanic, but that was essentially the draw of the format, is that these aren't just 3 random people, they're 3 of a kind. Like, for example, in the pilot that was put on YouTube by the one and only Wink Martindale, we had a team of Franciscan preachers against a team of teachers.
And we have like various amazing three of a kind teams. We have mothers to be. We have clowns. We have accountants. We have circus performers.
We have beekeepers. Beekeepers.
And they have their bee suits on.
And we have telegram singers.
Telegram singers. Folks, yes, in 1984, there were still telegram singers.
Da, 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 da. I am your singing telegram.
There were even hypnotists.
Hypnotists.
But they had to play the game as fairly as everybody else.
The three of a kind theme did not go into the celebrity era, though.
No.
No. Well, I'd say no, even though they did have like teen weeks, or 18 week, I should say. But the first celebrity week was actually in the middle of the civilian run in the 5th week. They're going to celebrities after not even a month. This is not a good sign. And this was All-American Sportsman versus Miss Americas. And I know we have stuff to say about this.
Oh, yes. Do we ever?
Well, specifically about 2 people, maybe even more. On the Miss America side were Susan Perkins, Kylene Barker, Cheryl Pruitt, Elizabeth Warden, Debbie Sue Maffitt, and the current Miss America at the time, you may have heard of her, Vanessa Williams.
I have thoughts.
Okay, we'll get to the thoughts in a second. Let me get through the All-American Sportsman, because, again, you're going to have more thoughts when you hear some of these names. So, on the All-American Sportsman side, you had Rick Barry, you had Ken Norton, Vince Ferragamo, Steve Yeager, Kurt Thomas, and Wilt Chamberlain.
I have more thoughts.
I knew you would. So where would you like to start?
First of all, applause for the choice in Miss Americas and All-American Sportsman. Kudos to NBC and Barry Enron. That being said, I don't think anybody could see what would happen to Vanessa Williams down the line with what happens with Vanessa Williams down the line.
Duh.
And I'll tell you right now, it didn't affect her career one bit.
No.
Successful singer, successful actress, all around success.
And we love her for it.
And we love her to death for it.
Yes. But we gotta address the elephant in the room here, guys.
Yeah, if you listen to the end of the last episode, we played an In Living Color clip where we had the Hall of Women Wilt Chamberlain carnally satisfied.
Had fun with, yeah.
And we gotta say it out the gate. He had to have slept with at least 3 women in that Miss America's group.
Are you kidding me?
At least 3.
At least 3. You know he got Vanessa Williams.
Not Vanessa Williams. No.
Well, like, that's the worst thing Vanessa Williams did when she was Miss America.
She didn't do that when she was Miss America. She did it before she was Miss America, and we don't talk about it.
Okay, do you want me to break the ice here? Do you want to hear a fun fact about Steve Yeager that I didn't realize until like 2 years ago?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay, well, when the pandemic happened and there was like no baseball, like, and all the sports networks were like rerunning old games, they reran like Roger Clemens' first 20 strikeout game against Seattle from '86, and Steve Yeager was on the Mariners at the time. And on the Chiron, they show Steve Yeager, the cousin of Colonel Chuck Yeager, on the Nesson Chiron. So who knew? I didn't know that. Thank you, Nesson fun fact guy from 1986 who happened to put that on the Chiron for me to discover in 2020. So Steve Yeager also, another fact, was a co-MVP of the 1981 World Series. And guys, in our next entry, we're going to talk about another co-MVP from that 1981 World Series. If you can believe it, we'll talk about another one from that 81 series the Dodgers won against the Yankees.
Oh, wow.
But I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay,
Yeah.
let's continue.
Oh, another fun fact about Steve Yeager. Apparently, Vanessa Williams was not the only person to appear in an adult magazine on that stage.
What?
Steve Yeager posed semi-nude in Playgirl magazine in 1982.
Oh, neat.
Thank you, Toys R Us kid.
Look, Toys R Us kid,
Wait.
I have some questions, but I'm not going to judge you.
Hey, Greg, quick question.
Yeah?
Who was the other MVP in the World Series?
Pedro Guerrero and Ron Say. So at least one of those two is going to come up in the next episode.
So going back to the celebrities, now that was week 5, and the next Celebrity Week wouldn't be until the show formally became Celebrity Hot Potato, which happened April 23rd of 1984, week 14. That week we had, as celebrities, playing with one civilian in each side, Phyllis Diller, Emma Sams, Renee Enriquez, and Billy Huffsey. So you had a nice little mix of stars there. I mean, Phyllis Diller, she's Phyllis Diller. Emma Sams, what was she on at that point?
She was on Dynasty at that point.
That's what I thought, Dynasty. Renee Enriquez would have been on Hill Street Blues, and Billy Huffsey would have been on Fame.
Yep.
So a little bit of NBC getting their stars on shows.
Of course.
Of course.
Hold on. There's one thing that we didn't mention about the game. On episode 11, the February 6, 1984 episode, they introduced a new wrinkle to the game. And you know a show is in trouble if they start with the wrinkles early. This was only episode 11. But starting from that episode, any team that got all 7 correct answers in a row without missing or challenging won the 7 straight jackpot, which started at $500 and grew by $500 for each match it was not won. So there was a chance to win a lot of money on this show.
Well, there was even a chance to win money if you didn't win the match.
Hold on. You're saying there was a chance to win money?
A chance to win money?
Okay, Jimmy Walker was not on any of the celebrity shows.
I know,
Sorry.
but I wish he was.
Can you imagine?
Money.
So now we're at Celebrity Week number 2, the third week with celebrities total, but in Celebrity Hot Potato proper, week 2. Christian Alfonso, Beverly Garland, Artie Johnson, and Ron Masak, the recently departed Ron Masak.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Christian Alfonso was on Falcon Crest at the time. She replaced Jamie Rose's character. They're the same character, but a new actress.
Yeah, because obviously Jamie Rose went to Lady Blue and had
Which
her,
recovered.
and her piece. You know, her piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we know, Greg. And Beverly Garland would have been on Scarecrow and Mrs. King at this point.
Oh, yes. And we recently talked about her in Camp Wilder.
And Artie Johnson was probably just goofing around, and Ron Masak was pitching pickles.
Well, for Artie Johnson, he had to wait another, 8 or so years until his greatest work, and of course, the cult classic, Munchie.
My gosh.
Oh, yeah.
As featured in the latest season of MST3K, Munchie.
Oh my. Oh, let's just get to the next week. And this actually was daytime versus nighttime TV stars week. You had Anne-Marie Martin, Leanne Hunley, and Marla Gibbs, and Jenny Lee Harrison, James Reynolds, and George Weiner.
Anne-Marie Martin in 1984 would be on Days of Our Lives as Gwen Davies. Leanne Hunley would be on another one of your stories, Days of Our Lives, as Anna DiMera. Marla Gibbs obviously is on The Jeffersons.
Jenny Lee Harrison would be on, at this point...
Three's Company.
Yeah, Three's Company, but isn't she on Dallas at this point?
Yeah, but that's still a primetime show. And yes, she would be on Dallas at this point.
Okay, yeah, she was on Dallas. Okay.
But you know, Jenny Lee is not going to pass up a chance to do a game show.
Oh,
no,
all. Of course not.
And we love her for it.
Yes. James Reynolds, what was he doing?
James Reynolds would be on Days of Our Lives.
Oh,
so it's basically Days of Our Lives versus all y'all.
Yeah. And then what was George Weiner doing in 84?
Spaceballs. No.
No,
that was 86. I'm sorry.
87.
87. That's 3 years away, yeah.
He was Assistant District Attorney Bernstein on Hill Street Blues.
I got a question, guys. You think anyone on the daytime roster called him Chicken? What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken?
I'm laughing because I understood that.
I have a better reference than that assistant attorney. He was Murray Chase on Matt Houston.
Yeah, Matt Houston.
And actually, I think it's not this weekend, but next weekend, I think Decades is doing a weekend binge of Matt Houston.
Ooh!
Nice.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe if you can find it on Amazon, the complete series of Matt Houston's on DVD. Not sure if it's from Mill Creek or VEI, but it's one of those companies.
Oh, nice. Now, this was May 7th through 11th, so this was as Sweeps was started, so I totally get that.
Oh, well, that explains this next set of celebrities then. For Funny Men versus Funny Women Week. There's some funny men and women here. Elaine Joyce, Doris Roberts, Joanne Worley, Milton Berle.
Uncle Milty!
Well, he would have still been under contract with NBC at this point, right?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Oh, yeah, because didn't he sign a 50-year contract in 1950?
Something like that.
Yeah. And then James Coco and Tom Dreesen.
Those are some funny men and funny women.
That's a pretty stacked lineup there. This is an awfully good time to take a little commercial break. We'll be back in a few minutes with the remainder of Hot Potato.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
There's the old cheers. Carla's fighting for her man, but can she really please him?
Just wait.
And Bill goes for broke when he pushes an 80-year-old tap dancer to his limit.
How about the comedy finish there, huh?
Buffalo Bill. Then Ray blackmails the chief for Frank's return.
It is a tape of you and the prostitute.
Thursday.
Be there.
I love the crunchy wheat taste of Kellogg's Mini Wheats, but the frosting side agrees with the little kid in me.
The whole grain shredded wheat side to me is quite superior. The light frosting pleases my girlish interior.
Kellogg's Mini Wheat cereals. Whole grain shredded wheat for the adult in you. Light frosting for the kid in you.
For me, the manly side of Mini Wheats is fitting. But the frosting's good, too. And I'm not kidding.
I want more bits, more bits, more bits in my kibbles and bits, more bits in my kibbles and bits, more bits in my kibbles and bits, in my kibbles and bits.
Introducing Kibbles and Bits and Bits and Bits. New crunchy bits, new chewy bits, more new and different kinds of taste than ever before. New
Kibbles and bits and bits and bits.
New Kibbles and Bits and Bits and Bits. Now more bits in every bite.
More bits.
It's the one that took the stick out of gum, and puts the fresh in your breath. Yeah, Freedom's the one that took the stick out of gum, and puts the fresh in your breath. Yeah, Freedom's the one.
Freedent gum not only won't stick to your dental work, it helps clean in between to freshen your breath while you chew.
Freedom's the one that took the stick out of gum, and puts the fresh in your breath. Freedom's the one.
Freshen your breath with non-stick Freedent.
Now we get back to 4 celebrities and 2 civilian contestants for the following week. We have Dorothy Lyman, obviously from Mama's Family, Jamie Farr, Aftermath at this point, and Brad Garrett, who would have just won Star Search at this point.
Yes.
And Michael Winslow, and we know where Michael Winslow's from. He is Police Academy.
Oh, yeah.
Not he's from Police Academy. He is Police Academy.
Officer Larvell Jones.
Now, hold on. With all due respect to Steve Guttenberg and Bubba Smith and David Graff, when most people think of Police Academy, they think Michael Winslow and those sound effects. This was the week I was born, so I can now rest comfortably knowing Tom Brady didn't have the 30 the day I was born, and that Michael Winslow was on Hot Potato. But also, let us not remember that Brad Garrett will come up next year in future installment Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling as the voice of the Hulkster, brother. Do you think that Hulk Hogan and Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling advised anyone to have some pasta mania and those Hulk roos of
those? I'm just thinking, not many people realize this, but Brad Garrett did a lot of things before Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
He was in that episode of Seinfeld where he stole a car, and it was like the episode with the bottle deposit. Remember the bottle deposit where Kramer and Newman try to get a bunch of bottles to Michigan so they could redeem them because Michigan has the thing where if you recycle a can, you get a dime?
Yep.
Well, doesn't New York State do that now?
No, it's a nickel. It's always been
it's a nickel. Oh, you're losing half the money. Oh.
Yeah, so that's why they did it, because in Michigan, they get 5 cents more. So they got all the bottles they could find and filled it up in Newman's mail truck. And then when they were trying to chase Brad Garrett, they had no choice but to throw the bottles out of the mail truck to stop him. Oh, it was heartbreaking.
Oh, my. Okay, let's get back. We have another special week. It's Teen Week, teen guys versus teen girls. For the females, we had Kim Fields. These are some big names for teenagers. Kim Fields, obviously, facts of life at this point. Missy Gold, who would have been on Benson, and Dana Hill. And this would have been right after the first National Lampoon movie? National Lampoon Vacation?
She was in European.
Yeah, she was in National Lampoon.
European. Okay, so that was 85, so okay.
So it'd be a year away, but, hold on a second. Do you know who her boyfriend was in National Lampoon's European Vacation?
Me! Pick me!
Chico, do you want to answer this?
Billy Zabka.
Yes! He was
Sensei Johnny Lawrence on Cobra Kai.
He was Jack in European Vacation.
Another underrated cinematic masterpiece.
Hey, Dad, look, bedpans.
Fun fact: Dana Hill also voiced Max on Goof Troop.
Yes.
Well, she also did voices for Duckman. And this, I think it was just like the first season because didn't she pass away in like 94?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, hey, guys, we have 3 males on this team. Let's talk about them because 2 of them have done some pretty big things. Peter Billingsley.
Oh,
and this,
yeah.
And this would literally be a few months after A Christmas Story. But of course, this also would have been right at the end of Real People's run.
Yeah. But also, as we mentioned in the 1983 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, when he sung If I Could Talk to the Animals on a Float, he was Messy Marvin. Remember Messy Marvin?
I remember Messy Marvin. Yeah. And also, if you haven't seen A Christmas Story Christmas, starts out slow, real good the second half to 2/3 of the movie. Go watch it. And then you had Matthew Leberto and Philip McKeon. And this would have been the last season of Alice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
84, yeah.
And
or if not, 85 was the last season. But
no, I'm pretty sure it was 84.
Okay.
I'll look it up, but I'm pretty sure 84 was the last season.
Yeah, and Matthew Laberto would have been known as Albert Ingalls on Little House, but around this time, he would be finishing up 18 episodes of future entry Whiz Kids.
Or it was the year before. I think Whiz Kids was 82, 83.
No, Whiz Kids was 83, 84.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize. Yo, we got to put that on the schedule. That's a show we've been wanting to talk about for a long time.
Putting it on the schedule.
Okay, good.
Okay, and also, Alice did last until March of 85. I thought it was going in 84. Wow.
Because I think I remember seeing like a promo for the last episode from 85. So.
Wow, okay. That's the last week with 6 celebrities. The rest of the run, there is a civilian in each team. And we go to the 4th to the last week when we've got Mindy Cohn, Martha Smith, Jim J. Bullock, and Brian Mitchell. And I think we know where at least 3 of those people were at this point, if not 4. Brian Mitchell, I think, was gathering vegetables from his garden to wear on Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour.
Yeah, he borrowed from Peter Davison. But of course, Trapper John M.D. for Brian.
Right.
No.
Jim J. would have been Too Close for Comfort.
Yep.
This would have been on syndication now at this point.
Yep. Mindy Cohn would be on
back. In early, wait. In early 84, it was syndicated?
Well, remember they had the theme week on Match Game Hollywood Squares?
Okay, makes sense. I thought it lasted longer before it went to syndication, but fair point. But Mindy Cohn, we all know where Mindy Cohn came from.
Mm-hmm.
And Martha Smith. Scarecrow and Mrs. King.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I was wondering why Chico was cackling.
Oh, because she was Playmate of the Month in July of 73.
Do you think there's a chance that Wilt Chamberlain got with her?
Oh my gosh.
So you're saying there's a shot. Okay. 3rd to last week, Marsha Wallace, Nipsey Russell, Christopher Durham, and Brad Garrett again. 2nd to last week, Cynthia Gibb, Roxy Roker, Larry Minetti, and Michael Winslow. Of course, at this point, Michael Winslow is really pushing Police Academy because it's hitting theaters really, really soon. It's going to be the movie of 1984. Don't believe what people say about Beverly Hills Cop or Ghostbusters. No. The movie to watch in 1984 is Police Academy.
And, of course, it had Kim Cattrall, Chico.
I was just about to say, you know that movie made Kim Cattrall's career, right?
It did, and that's why she got Mannequin and Sex in the City and How I Met Your Father from it.
And Big Trouble in Little China. Are we forgetting Big Trouble in Little China?
I forgot. Big Trouble in Little China, one of John Carpenter's best.
Yes. And then you have the final week with Lainey Kazan, Jan Murray, Anson Williams, and R.D. Johnson. And at this point, you could pretty much see the writing on the wall as everybody was just throwing caution to the wind.
Throwing caution to the wind?
That's
There was no throwing caution to the wind. At this point, with this being the final week, they knew they were gone. I remember this from when I was a kid. You had Jan Murray and Artie Johnson giving no poops at all about this. They were acting so friggin' goofy. They were making themselves laugh more than anybody else at this point. And Bill Cullen was just trying to keep them in line. It was. I'm going to find some footage. I'm going to put at least an open in here, or maybe some other stuff. They were really, really goofy. Just for you guys, the finale is on YouTube.
These two teams are about to play against each other.
Hi, I'm Ficus Benjamina.
Hi, I'm Carrie Olson.
Hi, I'm Anson Williams, and we are the champions!
Now let's meet their opponents.
Hi, I'm Jan Murray, but I wish I was Bill Cullen. Hi, I'm Rod Garrett.
I'm Lainey Kazan, and we are the Challengers!
And they're here to play Celebrity Hot Potato. And here's our host, Bill Cullen.
Artie Johnson, you're not Vicus Benjamina. What are you saying? And Jan Murray, you're not Bill Cullen. And you can't even wish to be Bill Cullen at this point. Yeah, they don't care. Not one iota. Nope. They're here for the laughs. Totally off the rails.
Yeah, that's when you could tell that, the show is pretty much on its last legs. And sure enough, on June 29th, it died a very quiet death, to be replaced with reruns of different strokes.
For a few weeks at least, because Super Password would premiere in the month of July. So the reruns did not last all that long, probably just a little stopgap until Super Password was ready. But it did get some airtime back in the 80s, not necessarily in the 90s. I don't remember it being on in the 90s, but it did have a little run in the 2000s. In the 80s, it definitely showed up on CBN reruns and maybe even USA reruns. I know it was on CBN for sure.
I remember this when it was on USA as a little kid, because this would air right after Press Your Luck.
Yeah, this would be like, it's like the 2 hours of the USA Network game show block that seemingly lasted forever were Press Your Luck, Hot Potato, Scrabble, and Sale of the Century.
Well, Hot Potato went till 90, I believe, on the USA block.
But Hot Potato did make an appearance on GSN, or Game Show Network, about 2001. I remember it aired once a day, and it aired at 8:30 in the morning. And thankfully for me, I didn't work until second shift at that point, so I could watch Hot Potato in the morning. Wish I would have recorded some of them. Oh well.
And also before that, GSN aired Hot Potato around 1997 to 1998 as filler programming during the period when the channel lost the Goodson-Todman library.
But yeah, it's gotten airplay over the last, 38 years since it was canceled? And as Chico said earlier, it does have a place in history, kind of, sort of, being the last Barry and Enright daytime show.
Not only that, it was also the last network show hosted by Bill Cullen, and also the last show before Jack Barry's death. And some fun facts about this show: the highest jackpot ever won was $20,000, and that was won by a group of waitresses.
Hold on, guys. You said it was a group of waitresses?
That was the highest jackpot ever won.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, but I got a question. Do you think Wilt Chamberlain got with any of those 3 waitresses?
No!
Oh, that's one hell of a tip.
Good night, everybody. I know where you were trying to steer the conversation, and yes, there was a team who won $40,000. There was a team of accountants, Pam Noggle, Mike McHugh, and Allison Dunn, but if memory serves, they did not win the highest jackpot. And of course, this being a Barry and Enright show on NBC, players stayed until they lost. Because they were giving away money hand over fist and they weren't getting the ratings, they had to make some changes for the celebrity format. And so instead of the escalating jackpot, if you won the bonus round, you got a flat $5,000. These celebrities are funny, but they do not come cheap. And Family Feud was kicking their asses.
And again, it doesn't help that it aired at noon.
Didn't help Go, didn't help this show.
Nope.
Didn't hurt Super Password for some reason, though. Huh.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Hey, Bert Convy has that power.
Oh, wait, I have an answer for that.
Oh,
I have an
okay.
answer for that.
Okay, what is it?
Okay. Family Feud only aired at noon until October. Super Password launched in late September.
Oh, I thought it launched in July. Wow. So Different Strokes reruns actually aired for a good 3 months at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Different Strokes reruns replaced this after Hot Potato was canceled.
Yep. And Super Password was going up against Ryan's Hope and whatever CBS was airing at noon, which would be local programming, probably the afternoon news.
Well, do we have anything else to add about Hot Potato?
They tried.
They tried.
It's another Barry Enright show that, well, for lack of a better word, is derivative. It's just another kind of sort of rip-off of an existing, much better format. But, oh, you got to give credit to that show. That smoking sign.
That whole set was something else.
Oh, that set was glorious.
The set was amazing. And even the computer technology in 1984 was something to behold.
It's like every one of these screens was like run off a Commodore Amiga or something.
Or Commodore 64, because that would
I think it was Commodore 64, yeah.
Yeah.
But then you also had those sliding penalty boxes or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, yes! Those sliding penalty boxes when someone missed an answer.
Oh, the whole thing, if they actually had a decent game and not at noon, maybe this could have lasted a little while. The set by itself, the set and the music, oh my gosh. Classic. Vintage.
That Hal Heidi music, that was something else.
And I have memories of this as a real little kid on the USA Network block with Pressure Luck. And this show stuck with me from when I was like 4 years old. And yeah, this is like one of the first game show memories I ever had as a kid, watching this.
Interestingly enough, we talked about the Hal Heidi music. It was a bit of a rip off of the music that they used in the pilot, which was actually the sort of instrumental beds from two popular songs. The opening was an instrumental bed from Stop, Look, and Listen by Donna Summer. And the closing was an instrumental bed from a slightly more successful song, You Make Me Feel Mighty Real by Sylvester. And if you listen back to those songs, you could kind of hear, yep, that's where Hal Heidi got Hot Potato from. And again, it wouldn't be the first time that Hal Heidi did a riff off of a popular song. If you remember, Hal Heidi's Joker's Wild was basically a riff off of The Savers by Paray and Kingsley.
And a much better version, because The Savers is not a good theme.
Hey, some people who are aficionados of the Moog synthesizer would disagree with you.
Well, that's their loss. But Hot Potato, for as short-lived as this was, this is still, I guess you could say, fondly remembered among the fandom to this day of game shows.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those shows that was either gone too soon or overstayed its welcome.
Yeah. And in the end, this just became another thing on TV. But guys, do you want to play a game of non-eBay prices right?
No, I prefer misery and malcontent with my life. Of course I do.
What did you find?
Well, let's play the music first. Let's play the sexy sax music. Okay, guys, I've had this for a long time now, but I thought because of this episode, this would be the perfect subject to bring it up. I have had, for the last, I would say, maybe 15 years or so, this used copy of Wilt Chamberlain, A View from Above.
Oh, is that what he's calling it now?
Now, I got this used at a local library, okay? You are bidding on the price I paid for this book. Now, I will give a maximum bid, okay? The maximum bid is $8.
So it is less than $8.
So you cannot bid any higher than $8.
This sounds like something out of Bill Cullen's Prices Right, now that I think about it.
Mike, I will start the bidding with you.
It was a library book sale.
Yeah.
You didn't pay more than $2 for it.
So $2?
$2.
Chico.
$3.75.
You have both overbid.
I knew
I knew I should have gone lower. I just knew it.
I knew $2 is the most you paid. I knew that.
Mike, lower than $2.
Let's go $1.
Chico.
Do it. Do it.
$1.
I knew it.
You have both overbid again. Mike, no lower than $1.
Let's see how Chico plays this one. 75 cents.
Chico.
One single
Oh, you just
spoonable
given up on the whole affair.
penny.
Okay.
I paid a dime for this.
Hey! As we have established on this podcast, Greg hates money.
But for a dime, this was the steal of the century.
For a dime, that's not bad.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what? You did good, Greg. You did good.
Yeah, I can read about Wilt sleeping with the 20,000 women all I
Oh
want.
my God, really?
Hey, Greg, I'm curious. Does that book list the names of every single one of those 20,000 women?
I wish it did.
Oh, that would be worth every single cent of that 10 cents.
All of them.
And I'd buy that book from you for 11 cents. You'd make a profit.
But guys, I also got something for you guys before we close this out.
Oh, no.
It's time for It Was a Thing on TV Haiku Corner. Now, it's been a long time since we've done this. So let's play the music.
Oh, we're bringing back all the oldies tonight. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. It's been a long time since we played this music, but okay. Here we go. Are you ready for this great poem that I've haiku?
Sure.
Sure. All right. From Hot Potato. Bill, what's the Segway doing? It's at Wilt's Hotel. Thanks, Johnny, for performing that haiku for me.
I can't give snaps or claps or anything for that. I'm sorry.
No, you get no snaps from me, good sir. None whatsoever. Well, before we...
Who knew Wilt stole that Segway from Bill?
Oh, jeez. Well, what can I say after that disaster? But all of our episodes are available on itwasathingontv.com and, of course, where fine podcasts can be streamed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, review. 5 stars only because positive vibes only. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to smash that notification bell to stay up to date on all of our future entries, like what we have coming up this Thursday. Now, it's a TV show, but it's not the TV show you think it is.
Even though it has one of the stars from that show.
2.
Two?
2.
2?
2.
Really? Now I'm curious to know what the second one was. Okay.
Well, I will tell you and our audience next time right here on It Was a Thing on TV. For Greg, for Mike, I'm Chico. Thank you ever so much for listening. Please stay kind to each other, and we will see you for the next one.
Wow! Hot Potato is a very Enright production.
NBC, let's all be there.
Stay tuned. 2.5 hours from now, Match Game at Hollywood Squares will be on the air. With me, Johnny Olson.
And I'll be dressing up like Boy George.
Oh, God.
Johnny, look. I know you have a thing for cross-dressing, but just don't, okay?
You stay out of this, you pissant son of a bitch. What Johnny Olson does in his free time is none of your damn business.